because they can be easily associated with a warm, sunny day. Blues, violets, and greens, on the other hand, are called cool because they often come to mind when thinking about overcast or rainy days. When cool and warm colors are mixed together in a painting, what is the overall mood or feeling then? Besides the weather, there are many other associations and feelings that colors can summon. Is there a color or combination of colors that triggers a specific memory or thought in you? Understanding the effects colors have on you will help you read an artwork and develop your own interpretation of it. And when making your own artwork, knowing the effect colors have will help you control the messages you hope to convey. Each of these pictures is a self-portrait by a well-known artist. Although they are portraying very similar things, one main idea that differentiates them is how the artists have used line in their work. Line is one of the 7 elements of art, along with shape, color, texture, form, value, and space. These 7 elements are the building blocks of all art and are a great place to start when analyzing or interpreting works of art. Line is the path created when an object moves from one point to another. In the visual arts, lines are made when you draw or paint marks on a paper, canvas, or when materials such as wood, glass, and metal are bent or shaped. Lines are also made by photographers and filmmakers when they choose how to angle the cameras and how to compose their shots. Lines can be horizontal, vertical, or diagonal, straight, curved, or free form. They can be thick or thin, light or dark. Sometimes one line can be all of those things. Lines can be described in many ways: dashed, dotted, rough, smooth, zigzag, implied. What qualities do you see in these lines? How would you describe them? No. Every artist has a unique way of making lines. It's one way of the finished quality of this self-portrait by David Hockney. What do his lines suggest to you? Do they make you think or feel differently than the Basquiat self-portrait? If you were drawing a self-portrait, what kinds of lines would you choose to represent yourself? What kinds of lines would communicate the messages you want viewers to think about? The next time you are looking at a sculpture, painting, or drawing, try to notice what kinds of lines are used and interpret what they mean to you. Representation.
Keep that in mind. Okay, so positive and negative space. Choose any shape or object. I just want you to indicate what's positive and what's negative. Oops. Should be using a ruler.
Oh, I'm back.
So you can fill this in solid, you can use lines like I did. but I'm indicating that this is the negative space. Now this would be the positive space. You can fill it in, give it detail, whatever you like to do. We're just trying to create the contrast between positive and negative. Now space, like physical space, foreground and background, I'm going to draw a horizon line just indicating or implying that this is a mountain range. So this represents the background. And so I'm just going to put some abstract shapes, some organic shapes, middle ground, and to give the illusion of foreground, I'm going to use some orthogonal lines to create the illusion of a road, like it's closer and further away, but just to really emphasize that, I'm going to put some trees, larger trees in the front. I'm going to just scribble some trees in real quick. And then they'll be tiny back here. Okay, so by using size, contrast in size, from large to small, creating the illusion of space. So you can do whatever you want for color and line. We're going to move on to value and texture. Okay, choose any color from your 12 set that you like for monochrome. Best if you use your pencil sharpener and sharpen your color pencil. I do recommend shading in small circles. This is not a formal value lesson. This is an intro. So I'm going in like oval shapes, just kind of trying to smoothly shade, and then shading towards my right side. I'll lighten up the pressure to where it's very, very light. So I'm just trying to very delicately touch the paper on the right side of the box. I will give you a little color theory hint here. If you want to take the grass green from your Prisma set and it's sharpened, not dull, so if it's dull it will look lumpy. But if you want to increase the look of monochrome, meaning getting a wider range of values, you can challenge yourself a little bit. Add a really thin layer of dark green at the darkest part of your red. This is a little bit of color theory here. If you mix complements together, they create neutrals. So it'll create a darker red. You don't want to be able to see the green. You want to blend them enough to where it just looks like a dark red. And that usually requires going over the green again, really mixing it in. So I'm not sure if you guys can see it on the camera, but do you see how that's a much darker red now? That's a trick with color theory. All complements will do this. Purple and violet, or violet and yellow, orange and blue. Okay, grayscale, We're gonna use a regular pencil. If you guys only have mechanical pencils, please come to the center of the room and grab a regular pencil. Just put it back when you're done. Your art kit will have pencils. Now, I do like to tuck my elbow in like a T-Rex to my hip and then just use my whole forearm. And I hold the pencil like this. Excuse my ugly Band-Aid, but I go overhand shading, okay? But I tuck my elbow so it looks like that. Right, I push the pencil into the little pocket in the middle of my hand, and then I tuck my elbow into my hip, and I just do the T-Rex arm, just for small little areas like this. And also, if you don't want to go outside your lines, I know it's a curved edge, but you can give yourself a boundary there. I'm going to go right to left. Okay, thank you. You can also put your name card or a sticky note at the border so you don't go outside the lines. Up to you, whatever helps. We're going to kind of combo texture and value on the right hand side. Alright, stippling, you want to be really mindful about where you place your dots. Now if you have a really thin pen, you can just shade a dark spot and then try to create a gradual transition off of it. This is stippling, using dots to create form or transitions in value. We are going to choose which ones we want to apply to the basic forms underneath.
So just dots.
Yes, but when they're darker value, they're closer together, and when it's a lighter value, what happens?
Can I borrow a marker?
It's spread out.
Yes, very good. Okay.
You're good, bro.
Shh. Try to be gentle. If we can hear you making the dots, it's probably a little bit too much for the pen. Okay, so hatching, same concept with all ink. The closer together, the darker the value. The further apart, the lighter the value. Or cube first. Use your square tool. Oopsie. Whenever you're doing your square, there should be parallel lines here. These are not quite parallel. My cube is a little bit off. I like to use vanishing points. I kind of want to fix this side. It was a cylinder, so the cylinder, smiley face, and a smiley face. Two smiley faces, and then parallel lines. The top of the cylinder is an ellipse, like an eyeball or leaf shape. Please make sure that you have it as an ellipse. And then a prism, do a really obtuse angle. Everybody knows what an obtuse angle is, right? Okay, do an obtuse angle, and then you can put a dot above it, and then use that dot to connect to each corner. I don't know how this is going to turn out. Let's see. To create a prism. Okay. A little sloppy on the bottom. I tried to freehand that line. Okay. Straight edges are wonderful. Okay. Wonderful tool. Okay, pick any color you like to, we're going to shade this circle into a monochromatic sphere. Alright, this is not a formal training, this is just an introduction to art elements, but I will try to squeeze in my ellipse for my shadow, kind of try to squeeze it in weird. I'll tell you that a cast shadow is lighter at the end and darker at the base where it touches the object. I'm just creating a little horizon. Okay, I'm going to shade in small circles. So we're just practicing applying the concept of monochromatic to the sphere. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going to go around from 12 o'clock down. I'm going to leave a little sliver of a reflected light at the bottom. I kind of messed up right there. I lost my sliver. This is not a formal sphere training. We're just going to do small circles. We're applying a monochromatic value to the sphere. I am going to erase where my highlight is between 1 and 3 o'clock. I'm going to erase the outline where I can barely see it. And that way I can fade my color pencil off. So just try to capture shadow, midtone, and highlight the best you can. This is just practice, okay? Okay, we are gonna apply stippling, or whatever you like. If you kind of wanna, if you wanna practice hatching, hatching on a cone is a little bit tricky. So we will do more lessons on ink techniques later on. Let's see. I don't know how using this marker will work. I don't really have the right kind of space for this. Let's do you want to do grayscale on the cylinder? Or let's do hatching on the cylinder. Probably use a note card if we do grayscale. With a cube, generally you're going to have one side that's dark, one side that's in the middle, and one side that's light, depending on your light source. I just realized I did my light source backwards. Oopsie. Because all of the lights are coming from this side. Oh well, this one's got a backwards light. That's habit. So it's just a diagram. Sometimes with cubes, you can go a little darker on the edges of it to define the edge, and then it lightens up. But again, we will spend more time on this in a more formal lesson. This is just introduction to art elements. hatching on my cube. Just depends on your style. This would be considered cross hatching if you hatch in two different directions. What should we put on our prism? We could try scumbling. Scumbling can be a continuous line. If it's darker, the scumbles are smaller. And then if it's lighter, scumbling can be larger. So we are almost at the end of the lesson. So this is art element form. And now we are going to do shape, which you probably already drew this in your sketchbook. So we're going to have geometric on the left and organic. So organic shapes are fun. Some of them are one of a kind. Some of them are, more predictable. Like if you do a cloud can be an organic shape, a leaf organic shape, or like a irregular blob, like a puddle of water droplets. These are not geometric shapes. Geometric shapes semicircle, and a rectangle. Alright, that's all we're going to do on this assignment for today. I am going to put your grades in.